Wave 3D. I want to make this a non-technical webinar, and really it is dealing with how to use virtual samples to get more promotional product orders. As an organization, we often get asked about how to increase sales and to shorten the sales process from initial inquiry from customers through to getting a quote out to the customer and then to actually get the customer to actually make a decision. And this is a common problem that we come across when we discuss it with the sales managers, with sales directors, etc., etc. And especially when they manage a team of salespeople that are largely telephone-based, of actually getting a product out to a customer so they can actually see what that product actually looks like. We actually think that using the Sample It tool, which a number of our distributors now use and a number of our print customers use, is a good solution and a quick solution of putting together a virtual sample, attaching it to a quote, and getting it over to the customer very quickly so that they can actually visualize and see what the product will actually look at. So let me actually create a product. Looking at the screen, you're actually looking at our visualizer panel, and what I've actually got in front is I've actually just put on a mug currently, because it's one of the most common things that we get asked. Now what I've actually just done is I've actually just put on the auto rotate so that you can actually see what the mug looks like when it actually rotates, but turning that off, we can clearly just see that the mug from the different angles as I just hover over the image. Now, so let's just create the actual product. Across the top buttons, as I've just done, I've just actually used my mouse to actually look at different directions, but what you can actually do as well, for people new to the product, they might want to just use the buttons across the top, which gives you a more firm control of the various product just from the different angles. Also what it means is that you can actually rotate up and down. Alternatively, once I've done that, I can rotate left and right, or I can actually zoom the product up and down. The benefit of the zooming element of the product is that once you've actually sent the product to the customer, depending on what size you've actually saved it in, it will be the actual size that the product will actually initially be opened by the customer. So let's create the product. So across the top, on the top right-hand corner, you've got the print areas as well. So the print areas actually are very specific to the individual product, and those have actually been set by our suppliers. We have over 7,000 products now, either in 2D or 3D format, so a wealth of products to choose from. So let's starting at the beginning. Okay, let's just put it back. I do apologize, and let's browse and look for a logo first of all. With it being a coffee cup, what I did was I actually saved down some logos just simply from the internet previously. But let's just start with let's do the Starbucks logo, because with it being a coffee cup. So what I've done is I've uploaded it onto my mug, and as you can see, it's actually sat in the middle. So what I've actually done is it actually falls into a specific place, but then what I can actually do is I can actually make that logo larger and smaller. But what it does is it continuously stays in the print area. So if you actually go too high, as you can see, the print area that is previously set by the supplier is the print area that you can actually drop your logo into. So saving that. I then actually open my Tools panel, and what it enables me to do is actually take off the background. If there is any background sat there, I can play with it to actually show the tolerance level and save the product. So immediately what that does, that actually changes. As you can see, the background's actually gone. Maybe want to add some text, so And again, this is all being done while you either actually you are speaking to the customer, or you can say, I will put something together, and it's all done very, very quickly. So drink more coffee, or we might want to put a web address, or an email, telephone number, contact details, whatever. So I'm just bringing this text down, and then I can actually position where the text wants to go. So I'm moving it down. And then what I can actually do is look at the color. So let's try and make it more of a green color that actually matches. Maybe you want to change the font. Just to give it a bit of bold. And then what I can actually do is go into the colors. I can actually choose the color of my mug. I might want to change it just to give it a bit of a special effect. And the colors that by the products, the colors of the mugs or the color of whatever product you're choosing will actually be based on the ones that the supplier has actually indicated that they can actually do. So let's go for green. Maybe we just do that so it actually shows. Now what I can actually do is I can then go back to the images, and I can actually do a reverse image, I could do a wrap, etc., etc. But I'm just aware of time, so for this case, let's just leave it the way that is done. So I've got my virtual sample, then I need to send it to the customer. So So then what I can actually do is save the product, and what I'm actually doing is actually saving it in PDF and HTML in this case, but I can actually save it in various different formats to the customer. And then what will actually happen is I'm just waiting for it to save. The internet's a little slow this morning, so I do apologize. And then it's actually saving to the different formats. So what I've actually now got is I've actually got the options of how to actually produce a print sheet into PDF format. And I've got various options of different angles that of how I want to present that product. So what I've actually got here, I've just gone for a simple print format of 4 different angles, and I can immediately take that and actually send it to the customer. Now what we actually have is that our distributor customers, our various print customers that we actually have as well, have this personalized so they will actually have their specific details across the top, so it clearly is seen that it goes from them. And then what the customer can actually do is see it from a different angle in terms of print format, but at the same time, if they click through, they can actually see it in 3D. So immediately they can see what the mug will look like, and very quickly we can get that attached to a quotation, or you can get that attached to a quotation, and it's a very simple and effective virtual way of sending something through to the customer. So closing that, I can then just talk you through this and just showing the screen. So what we've got is then, as I showed you, we've got the images, we've got the tools that we just shown to actually clean the product, just the logos and so on, add text where you'd like to add text, and the colors, which actually shows the range of different colors that the products are actually available in. Across the left-hand side, you've got the products, and again, that just shows the different suppliers and the different products that can actually be done. And for an example, a good use of this is I was speaking to a large distributor recently, and they have a large contracted client who were just looking to do an exhibition, and they were looking for 10, 12 different examples and ideas of products that they could actually hand out at an exhibition, of which 2 or 3 they would actually choose. Well, what actually happened was that they the company actually created a range of 20 samples, in fact, from in virtual format, sent them over to the marketing department, and from that the marketing people actually chose 2 or 3 items which they then went to the supplier and actually got them and sent. And so when they actually got to the final meeting, the decision meeting, they were already ready with a number of samples But what it did do is it actually saved in terms of cost of shipping samples out, coordination from different suppliers and so on. So there we've got our product, and now what I can actually do is down the left-hand side we've used the visualizer. We've then got the sample manager, and the sample manager actually is exactly what it says. So it just actually shows the various samples that have already been created previously. So again, this is the one I created earlier. I can actually go into the sample manager if you have this, and I can actually edit that product. I can look at what product it actually was, when it was created, when it was last loaded. I can actually create links that I can embed and send over to the suppliers as well. At the same time, if the customer actually asks for the product to be sent over again, I can simply choose the product, create as a print sheet, again, and a very clean and effective way I can get this sent over to the customer. Now the benefit of this is that they get the product sent over. They immediately we can attach the option of a QR code and a 3D link. So if I actually click on that 3D link, it again immediately shows that through to the client again, and again the client can actually see, and then they can actually upload it to, you see on the right hand side, Twitter, Facebook, etc., all the different social medias. So just going back into our visualizer, so that I'm just aware that we have a number of printers actually sat look at the webinar this morning, and so what I just wanted to do was also just show and demonstrate a paper product. So I'm just going to go down and get a pad, and this is a notelet pad, but it gives the examples. As you can see, again, I've got various different angles of the pad, and again, using my tool, I can put it to the front, and looking at the top right-hand side, it gives me the different areas that I can actually print on. So first of all, let's actually look at the cover. So let's do the top of the cover, which is, again, at the top, just there. So a very obvious statement to make. And again, let me browse. So shall we keep it uniform? Let me do the Starbucks logo again. So again, what I've actually got there, it actually gives me the product, and again, it gives me the print. Oh, sorry, I'm just the rotate side. So sorry, I forgot to mention that we can actually rotate as well. So I'm rotating the product. And then what I can actually do is I can actually play with the logo to again put it within the print area, the correct print area. So I can then add, I can actually add wording again, various tools, using the tool bar again, opening the panel, take the white off or the background, and again it sits there. So that's all I'm going to do to the top. What I can then actually do is do the inside cover. And again, what I might decide to do on this one, rather than actually put a logo on, is just add some wording. So, and again, it just, I can play with the text size to actually make the product, and just look at the wording. Again, let me change the font. Let's keep it in corporate colors. And again, maybe we'll go for a more exciting font. So then what I can actually do as well is just going back to the top. Let's just personalize the paper, and I know this is becoming a more common thing to do as well. So maybe what I might want to do is just put some text on and something like just a bit of a humor, or we can just very much personalize it so that each actual notebook can actually be saved and used and actually given out to specific customers. Now, as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm using my move bar to actually just place it in the bottom right-hand corner, which then leaves the rest of the actual pad for messages that can be used and so on. And again, what I can actually do is choose different colors and look at, again, which colors I want to use. Maybe keep it all in with the green all the way throughout. Well, again, at the bottom, what this actually gives me is the different colors that are actually going to be used. It's quite clear from this product that the outer part remains white, but we can actually change the color inside. So it just depends on what color I want to do, and maybe to give it, we use it, keep it green, and again, go through the same process. So save the product. I hope that you can see that this is a quick and effective way of actually getting samples done quickly, a range of products, and as you can see, within a short period of time, we have products that we can send to the client with your quotation. So again, what I've done there is it shows again the different angles, and again, the same thing. If you click on that, it will actually give you the 3D effect. So let me just do that. As you can see, it's creating. So when somebody opens it, they can see what it will look like. And just finally, let's just go back to our sample manager. Again, if I've now got two samples, and again, it's just a simple way of creating different products. But if I take both those products, create a sheet, and immediately there, what I'm showing is a number of products for a client with the same logos that can be sent over, and they can look at 5, 6, 7, 8, however many different options that you're wanting. But I hope you can see how quickly that is actually created. For the sales managers watching the webinar, finally, let me just show you as well the different other tools that we actually have. So we've looked at the visualizer tool. We've got the sample manager, which actually gives you a history of the samples. What the sample inquiries does as well is we can actually have so that you can actually see who has actually the various inquiries that actually come through as well, or inquiries that have actually been undertaken. And then we can actually also have statistics. So what you can actually do here is you can actually look and put in a period of time and just see how many samples have been created, and how, as a result of that, how many sales have actually been converted to that. The image galleries, which I won't have anything sat there, will be where you can actually upload your images and actual final artwork. So for anybody that's actually has a key client and so on, you can actually be using true artwork for this. We also then have a proof manager system, which you can actually, which is a totally different product, but you could actually, if you wanted to go right through to proofing the product, then that could actually, you could actually be doing that as well. So thank you. We believe that the sample product is a product that is used regularly by a number of people. We clearly see it as a sales tool. I hope that you've realized this morning that I don't have any special artwork skills, but I can very quickly created some samples that I can send over to the customer.